So today I want to talk about something that surprises a lot of beginners, and that's learning to read code is actually harder than learning to write it. Now, I know that sounds backwards, right? And you may be thinking, wouldn't learning the code be the hardest part? But here's why reading code is the real challenge, and we're going to talk about it in this video, and also some ways that you can improve at reading code, which will ultimately improve your ability to code as a developer. So when you're first starting to learn code, you're probably watching a tutorial. The instructor is going to tell you to type this line, you type it, it works, it feels good because you actually are coding. And that's a great job. But the truth is you're just copying what someone else is telling you to do. Writing code is like speaking a new language. You can memorize a few phrases like hello, my name is, and it feels good on the surface. But reading code, on the other hand, is like opening up a novel to that new language. Suddenly there are words that you've never seen before, the grammar you may not understand, and nothing is explained step by step. So you're having to challenge yourself to actually learn. And this is why that's going to feel so much harder. But here's the thing though, reading code is where you actually grow, because when you read, you're forced to see how other developers think. You see their patterns that you wouldn't have come up with on your own. You see shortcuts, different ways to organize your information, and some clever solutions to things that you may not have been familiar with. It's almost like lifting weights for your brain, if you will. Every line you read is going to strengthen your understanding, even if you don't fully get it at first. So I'll give you a quick example. When I first started out, I could follow a tutorial easy from start to finish, no problem. But the first time I opened someone else's GitHub project, I was a little overwhelmed because I was seeing things that I didn't recognize, functions that I wasn't aware of, folder organization that I wasn't accustomed to seeing. And I thought, hey, this can be a little intimidating. Let me kind of slow down a little bit. So what I did was I took a step back to make sure that I had a clear understanding of different sections first and not try to grasp the entire code project all at once. And then little by little, it started to click, and I began to get better at reading code and identifying patterns and what we're trying to accomplish. And that's what really separated me from a beginner to someone that's more experienced and skilled, is because I was able to think and grow independently without relying on someone else. So now you may be wondering, why did I say reading code is so much harder than writing code? Because when you write code, you're in control. You're the only one that uses those concepts, and you already know what they are. But when you read someone else's code, you're kind of stepping into someone else's brain, into someone else's playpen, if you will. And they may know more than you. Chances are they actually do. They may have things organized differently than you. They may have a different folder structure than you. And that level of discomfort is what's going to get you outside of your comfort zone and really challenge you to grow. So, as I was on my journey, here are some tips that I use to kind of help improve my ability to read code. The first thing, as I mentioned earlier, was to start small. Don't dive into a massive framework or a massive project right away. Pick a small open source project, even one of your old projects, and begin to read and understand that first. Second is I began to follow the flow, asking myself, where does the program start? What actually happens step by step? Trace the path instead of skimming over everything. That way you can get an understanding of how the operation or how the project works, and you can get a better understanding from beginning to end. And then last but not least is taking notes. I got to a point where I would try to write down and guess what's going to take place. And then as I worked through that code function or whatever it was, sometimes I was right, but sometimes I wasn't correct. But throughout the entire process, it was something that I learned from, and it actually made me better as a developer. So some things I want you to take away from this video is that writing code is what gets you started, but reading code is what's going to make you a developer. Because in the real world, you're not just going to start with a brand new project all the time. Sometimes you're going to be joining existing projects, fixing bugs, and working on code that someone else wrote months, even years ago. So if you're feeling frustrated when you're starting out reading code, look, don't let it get you down, and don't have yourself feeling like a failure, because we all start somewhere, but you're actually taking the right step to really improve your skill set as a developer. So that's going to conclude today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If this resonated with you, leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the video and how you felt when you first started to read code. Also, feel free to give me a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.